Well, there it is. You can see the light on the heater there. Heaters are working overtime. It's January 23rd, 2026 in Minneapolis. No work today. We got a lot of businesses closed. If you're up on current events, Minneapolis is dealing with a lot of unwanted guests in forms of federal agents, going after anybody they deem necessary to go after. It's frustrating a lot of people. And so a lot of businesses are closed, a lot of protests taking place. So I've been out a lot myself lately, so I've got to stay inside it. It's like negative 15 during the middle of the day. Last night it was negative 21 degrees overnight, actual temperature, not just wind chill. I was actually kind of sleeping restlessly. I could hear, we sleep in the upstairs, kind of like a vaulted room in the very upstairs of the house. I could literally hear the boards on my roof like popping and cracking. Like not even kidding. It was loud. Like every half hour or so, there would be like a giant popping sound because of how cold it was. I guess any moisture in the wood, when it gets that cold, it expands and can make like popping noises. A lot of people on social media were actually just posting about how trees can technically, quote unquote, explode from these like cold temperatures. But it's pretty wild to hear the actual boards in my house making popping noises because of the frigid temperatures. That being said, anybody who runs aquariums, you run heaters. If you have enough, certain people like heat the whole room. I have like 10 aquariums going, but they're kind of spread out through my basement, so heating the whole room is not practical. But the heaters are on overtime. That being said, being dead of January, even without everything we've got going around in Minneapolis going on, it's really easy to neglect tanks and all the water quality. I mean, I keep up with my water changes, but they sometimes don't look so pretty. But I just really like this one for some reason. This is just a simple 20-gallon long with black mollies with a black background, which it really isn't the smartest thing to do. Some of these fish are getting kind of old. You can see this one here is faded quite a bit. They were all solid black. I mean, they're really pretty species, and they're throwing tons of babies. I've had this tank going for a while now, but kind of wanted to jump on, share a little bit of what I got going on for tanks around here, just trying to clear my mind a little bit, enjoy the aquariums. One of the things that got me into starting aquariums was, living in Minnesota, dealing with these, short days. It gets dark so early. It's winter time. It gets frigid cold for months and months. And having tropical tanks can really, kind of combat some of the mental stress that it puts on me. Like I really don't do well in winter. I'm usually in more of an outdoors kind of guy, and I still get out, but it's just a different vibe in the winter. So the aquariums have really helped me mentally over the seasons. But anyways, I thought I would share kind of what I got going on here, just kind of clear my mind and share some of my tanks. I'm going to run a quick water change on this, and then we'll jump back in, see if we can't get a look at that albino blue-eyed pleco. It's hiding out in there somewhere. I just scraped the glass and pulled out a few of the floating plants that are kind of taking over. And it's the best part of a water change is when you got everything scraped up, you got your sponge filters or your mechanical filtration cleaned out, and just the refilling, kind of keeping an eye on the tank. It's always like kind of my favorite part, you know. Let it fill up. It looks a little crazy. Fish are a little confused. And then when you're done, you just kind of hit the glass quick. And maybe that's something I'll do in future videos, is kind of go over a water change. But all that stuff on YouTube's been done so many times. But everybody does it a little different. And maybe in future videos, I'll do something like that. But it seems like my first YouTube upload, and I don't even know who's gonna watch this stuff. I mean, I like watching a lot of random aquarium YouTube kind of things. It's a pretty flooded hobby on there. But regardless, like I said, I'm just kind of sharing mine to do something with my time other than be angry. So we'll get back to it. We'll close out the video. Just a little before and after. This is just after the water change. You can always tell. You get the oxygen bubbles all over the glass. And you get the plants, quote, pearling, if you will. A lot of tanks you see on YouTube, it'll be just after a water change, and it always looks kind of sparkly. I dropped a food pellet in there. I was hoping my plecos would come out. They're usually pretty social in here, but I'm not seeing them today. But this won't be the last you see of this tank. I don't know if it's just, it's part of this. I got 320s stacked on top of each other. So this one's just right at eye level. It's probably why I like it so much, just because it's right in my face. But anyways, we'll take a look at the 75 and then we'll get out of here. So for instance, like this is a perfect example of like life getting in the way, federal agents invading your town, you know, not aquariums really being your main focus at any one given time. And when you have multiple tanks, some of them can start to look like this. This looks, it's a 75 gallon. It looks, I've had it forever. It's been up and running for a long time. It looks exceptionally bad at the moment. It's a little overcrowded. I had a 125 fully planted community tank that sprung a leak, which was devastating and cost me like an entire weekend of just giant mess. But anyhow, I had to throw, you know, fish in here. One of those unsuspecting things that can happen. Unfortunately, I might do a video on that at some point. But that's kind of why I wanted to start the uploads. You know, I just needed to occupy my mind a little bit, focus more on the aquariums and less on sitting around being angry at things that are mostly out of my control. So this is my first upload. We'll probably do something with this in the future. If you still are watching this late in the video, do all the YouTube stuff. This is a bit of an experiment, so it'll motivate me to potentially actually do another upload or whatever. We'll see how it goes. But anyhow, I hope you guys are having a great winter. Hope you're warmer than we are. Oh, and the storm, I guess, is hitting the East Coast pretty bad, or southern United States, southeast. Looks really nasty. It's just below us. I mean, we got negative 21-degree temperatures, but out there it's going to be nasty blizzard-like frigid conditions for the next 3 or 4 days. So everybody out there, best of luck to you. Get prepared. You know, wishing you guys the best. And we'll get through it. We'll get through it together. Thanks so much.